listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I'm ecstatic that you're listening. This podcast has been a passion project of mine since 2016. On this episode, I sit down with Anthony Jennings, one of the founders of the Black Brewers podcast. He's also a fellow member of the Brewing Change Collaborative and somebody who always just makes me smile. He's an incredible friend who's making so many outstanding things happen with his podcast. Anthony is very open about his life, and we do talk about mental health. I want to give a trigger warning that we talk a bit about suicide and the importance of being open about mental health and checking in on each other in the second half of the interview. Anthony is a great craft beer renaissance man, and I know you're going to love this interview. So let's head out to Wooden Ship Brewing Company for my beer chat with Anthony Jennings. Cheers. Well, welcome to another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. My name is Dan Bobian, and we are here at the Wooden Ship, and I have the absolute joy of sitting down with one of the members of the Black Brewers podcast, Anthony Jennings.
What up, what up, what up? I had to do my regular Black Brewers podcast intro. What up, what up, what up?
I love it. And we have been talking about doing this for quite some time.
Shoot, can I cuss?
You can, yes.
Okay, shit.
Shit.
We've been talking about this for almost a year.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. So I'm finally glad we got it nailed down. Scheduling is crazy. Between,
you're busy man about town.
You're a busy teacher.
Jet setting and doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to live in the moment for once.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So obviously we have so much to talk about. And before we delve into Black Brewers podcast, your career in the industry, your likes, dislikes, the cooking that you do.
Yes.
Just tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm curious. I want to know about your journey into craft beer. How did it start?
Well, I am a 40-something-year-old African-American male, born in Aurora, Illinois, raised between Minneapolis and Illinois. My craft beer journey probably started in my late to early 30s. As you know, when you young, 21, you drink all kind of crap beer. And, me and my guys were Still Reserve and Mad Dog and bottom of the barrel alcohol and liquor.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of stayed away from beer because my dad has a history of alcoholism and my dad's side of the family. So I was, from an early age, I didn't really want to do anything, either drugs. My mom was a addict, and my dad was an abuser of liquor. So it kept me away from beer and spirits for the most part. Like I drank it when you were friends and all that, young adult stuff. But I think around, I want to say between 29 and 31. I never forgot it. I don't remember the age. I went to a liquor store, and something just told me to try something different.
Yeah.
So I asked the guy, I think I was in North Minneapolis too, which was weird. I asked the guy, what's a good craft beer? And he led me to Summit. Summit in Northeast. Summit. Because Northeast is, Grain Belt. Grain Belt. So my first actually craft beer was Grain Belt Premium.
Okay.
Then switched over to Northeast. My first introduction to I kind of compartmentalized the difference to microbrew stuff was a different liquor store. I was curious about brown ales and nut browns, and I asked this old white dude, hey, what's a really good stout or something? He was like, Sam Smith's Nut Brown Ale, which is still my favorite beer of all time.
Yeah.
That is, if I had a last beer request, that's what I want.
It's so smooth.
So smooth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made my appreciation for different styles unique because I didn't just jump into like, premium is like a lager. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I went from a lager straight to stouts.
Yeah.
Like there was no deviation. I didn't try anything else for a while. So that's how the drinking craft beer started.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too. I mean, we're practically the same age, you know. I always feel like when we have a BCC meeting, we're the
Elder
elders.
statesmen. The elder statesmen, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, craft beer wasn't a thing, you know, when we were in our 20s. So it's kind of like, I mean, the first time I got ham boned was off of Zima.
Oh,
so that's. Yeah, that tells the listeners what generation we're dealing with.
Zima. Remember, that was all the rage, too, and it was gross.
And about, when was it? Like 2014, they brought it back.
Yeah, they brought it back.
And my soul had a reawakening. I had to try it back. I'm like, I don't know how I ever thought this was delicious. I would put Jolly Ranchers in there, give it a little extra je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, that just reminds me of like, you ever went back and tried some of the old liquor you used to drink?
Oh, yeah.
I remember not too long ago, went back and tried some Jameson.
Okay, yeah.
It was not.
What you like? You like the...
Yeah.
You get into some scotch, too. And
yeah, as my friends say, I drink like a white man with scotch. And I do.
Yeah.
Because, the palate knows, man. The palate knows.
Yeah. Yeah, Jameson, I remember thinking that was kind of like the fancy stuff.
Me too.
Now it's like,
Me too.
Yeah. But that's like, it's one of those things, craft anything, craft spirits, craft beer, craft wines, anything. It's like, it's an evolution. And I think like, it's fun to go back and try something that you really liked before. And it's, just to find it just doesn't hit the same way.
Yeah, most of it doesn't hit the same way.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
I remember drinking Mickey's.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
The little nuggets.
Yeah.
We called them grenades.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Stomach rot.
Oh, yeah, that was like deceptively strong, too. It's like, that would put you on your ass if you weren't careful. So, you and I met through Brewing Change Collaborative.
Correct.
How did you find your way into like the craft beer industry?
So it's a serendipitous story. It's kind of crazy. So we both know Shantae. We're on the community outreach.
Yeah.
I knew Shantae at the job I was at a couple years right before I got into craft. We worked together at Appetite for Change, and I was the front house manager, assistant general manager. I left corporate, left Dollar Tree. I was done with corporate. I knew the people who started the business. My son's mother was one of the founders.
Okay.
She's Chef Lachelle Cunningham. Shout out Chef Lachelle. And I got the job. And I remember if you were of a certain status in the job, because it was a nonprofit, they had these classes and things you could take. And they offered an intentionality class.
Okay.
And I remember going to the class, and I think I've showed you the book where I said I wrote in 2018.
Yeah.
So I wrote in this book. Now, it's a friend of mine who introduced me to him, but she heard what I wrote. I said, and this was 2018, I said I wanted to open the first black brewery or brew pub in Minneapolis, not knowing there were any black people in craft beer, working or anything. I had no clue. I always wanted to go to tap rooms since like Fulton and all the first ones opened up.
Yeah.
Never went. None of my friends would go, and I knew walking in what it would look like for me to make everybody else comfortable. So I wanted to go to tap rooms for 15 years and never went into one until my first time meeting BCC. So I said that a friend of mine, Katie, she was like, hey, a friend of mine, Nazarene, she knows Nazarene, L, and Ramsey, but I think she knows Nazarene and L. She's like, they just started this group, Brewing Change, like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So right before the pandemic, I think it was, I joined the group, and I met the first members at the first collaboration brew I did, which ended up being my first job, Inbound, which was kind of crazy because a year before when I worked at Breaking Bread, Rob, one of the brewers there, his wife used to rent out community kitchen space. So we talked about beer a year before I
He was a
went
big
to the
home
brewery.
brewer too.
Yeah, huge home brewer. So I go one morning, did 3 days. I always say I was the first one there, last one out, because I love craft beer. I already had home brewed a couple times.
Yeah.
Didn't really get good at it. I was going off like, if you like Summit, make this.
Sure.
That was
sure.
very, very basic home brewing, but it was fun. And so I get there, and I remember Rob there, and that's the first time I met Elle, Ramsey, Nazreen, Phil, Jeremy, Mahad. I'm missing 1 or 2 people, but I met them there that day. Rob already knew, and it was so crazy because they were like, Ramsey, all of the leaders. They were like, yeah, we're leaving tomorrow to go to Philly. And I'm like, for what?
Oh, for the
Fresh Fest at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, had I known a week earlier. Mm-hmm. But, after 3 days, I got offered a job.
That's awesome.
At Inbound, so.
I want to go back to something you said to kind of break it down for people, because I think, we're in Minnesota, and as similar to other craft beer markets, the Minnesota craft beer scene is incredibly white.
It's hopping.
Very white male. For a while, I was like, when I first started going to breweries, I'm like, I don't have a mustache or fancy glasses. Do I belong here? Much less, I'm not
or
white either. Yeah, right. So why is that tricky? I think people don't, a lot of people don't understand why, if you are the only of any type of a group going into a different space where there's a lot of one type of person. What's intimidating about that?
I can only speak for myself, and I'm sure other people of color will understand this. Why is it that when I walk into a room, or any person of color, or any person who is othered, walk into a room, why is everybody else in that room who is of the same ilk automatically defensive of that one person? And that's what keeps people from going places. I shouldn't have, as a one black male, enter a room with 40 people, mostly middle-aged white men and white women, and they're scared of me.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So why it should be, y'all make me feel uncomfortable because y'all not used to seeing me into this space.
Yeah.
But it goes back to old tropes and the theory of, people are lazy or self-made men. It was funny because I don't know if you watched the clip I posted with Garrett Oliver about there's no such thing as a self-made man, and if you are, it's a lonely existence.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that for me, it's not being comfortable. It always strikes me as weird as white people are scared of black people.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, but I can point historically to reasons why I should be scared of white men.
Exactly.
And white women.
Yes.
So I think that keeps us out of places.
Yeah.
Because of historical trauma, fear of the unknown, and then, Lord forbid, you walk in and say something or do something. Now you have reaffirmed whatever stereotype they have.
Yes.
So that's what I think is hard, to go into places where you don't see people who look like you.
And that's a juxtaposition, because there's this narrative about craft beer that it is. I mean, beer throughout history has been a communal drink. It's not. Whereas wine is kind of a snootier, or at least it has that context centered around it.
Hoity-toity.
Beer is supposed to be for everyone, but yet when you go into a lot of breweries and brew pubs, that's not the case. And I have a hard time sometimes articulating that to people.
Yeah.
Because, and I think that there's a lot of reasons for why somebody doesn't want to really confront that reality in a realistic way. Sometimes it's out of ignorance. Maybe they truly don't understand. And in that instance, it's like, well, okay, let me explain to you my perspective. And there's like the, when people say, "Oh, I don't see race, I don't see color."
Run.
Okay,
that person.
That's so problematic. Such a problematic thing to say. And I think when people say that, I think they're trying to say like, "Oh, we're all the same," but like, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, if you read between the lines, you kind of know what they're saying. And so I think that, when brewing change came along, that was like such a welcoming, exciting idea. And now I love it because a lot of spaces are getting better.
Yeah.
Are getting more inclusive. And I think that, like, it helps to have these conversations. And you are doing amazing, incredible storytelling with the Black Brewers podcast. I want to know, how did that start? Obviously, you know, coming into BCC and coming into the industry, seeing firsthand the lack of people of color, the lack of Black brewers.
Representation.
You were moved to kind of get together and start something. Talk me through how that came to me. Give me the Black Brewers podcast origin story.
So there were 3 of us who started it. I can only give my part of it.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely got to do it with all of us.
Yes.
But from my part of it, when I did podcasting when it was like underground, like 2013 to 2016, Blog Talk Radio. We had a show called The Canvas Show and one. It was North Minneapolis, talked about cultural events.
Okay.
North Side stuff, you know. You know the story. If you're North Side, you know everybody.
Yeah.
You know, the Black community over there. So we did that for 3 years. Always was on my mind, and then I started seeing podcasts kind of take off.
Yeah.
And like I say, this was, you couldn't even really find a podcast. Like, this was, you had to go on the internet to find Blog Talk Radio to listen and then the call-in number. So when I joined, after I got hired at Inbound, I went to my first BCC meeting. And it was at Bauhaus, and I never forgot it. The first thing I said after, you know, introductions on that, I said, we should do a podcast. Phil heard me maybe a year later at Arbiter. It was quite a bit time later, maybe a year, 6 months to a year later.
Yeah.
I'm at Arbiter, see Phil. He's like, Ant, this is my boy Greg. He's talking about doing a podcast too. I had just met Greg.
Okay.
So we sat for like 2 hours that day. And then for like 6 months, we met every day in the Crow's Nest at Arbiter. Not every day, but most times there, leave somewhere else, go to Mortimer's or go to a bar. We really got to know each other. We talked, we just spitballed ideas. Mm-hmm. We spitballed ideas. We got to know each other. We became fast friends and brothers. And I really think us not jumping right on, talking with each other, learning about each other, meeting each other's people in our lives, helped create that organic way we talk.
Yeah.
You know, I remembered before from a podcast, like, you can't be fake. You have to be authentic. Because, you know, the thing first was like, let's do it. I'm like, no, let's pump our brakes. Let's get to know each other. You know, we know we want a podcast. We know we want it to center around beer.
Yeah. We
don't know what it's going to be yet, right? And for me, I didn't want to put any restrictions on it.
Yeah.
Because as from 2016, when I ended my podcast till now, the podcast thing is so much bigger, and it can go any way, whatever you want to go with it. Mm-hmm. The only limitation is your imagination. So for me, it's been this what is the word? Aphromoris? Is that the right word? You're an English teacher.
I think so. Okay. I'm going to be honest. As I tell my students,
like an ethereal thing. Like, it's there, but you can't grab it.
Yeah.
But we know what the vision is.
Yeah.
So it literally came from our friendship and our wanting to talk about representation, our wanting to say and to show other people, hey man, we're here. We're here. You don't see us, we're here. Come here.
Well, and I think one of the nice things about your podcast is that, you know, you mentioned it, and I didn't know. I guess I knew the people involved at the beginning. I did not know that the kind of the precursor to that first episode had been a long time coming, and it's really interesting to hear that, you know, it was born out of, communication, hanging out, friendship, bond.
Yep.
And that comes across so well. Last summer, I really enjoyed sitting and listening to you all record.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I think about, like, back in the day, like, I'm talking, like, early to mid 80s NBA, you had, like, those teams that played with each other, and it's like, Magic Johnson just knew where all his players wanted the ball, and he'd get it to them.
Yeah.
When you all were talking and just kind of like kicking it back and forth, the kind of camaraderie and rapport was so evident.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen on accident.
No.
And it makes so much sense to hear that this was not just something, like you said, we didn't just jump right in.
No.
It was a kind of like a very methodical, purposeful way. Let's get to know each other first, and then that foundation is laid. And I think, now you can bring other people in.
Yeah.
So it started with you, Phil, and Greg.
Yeah.
And it's evolved.
Yes, it has.
So do you want to talk about, like, kind of where it is currently?
So I call us a collective at this point because we are more than just three guys. Mm-hmm. It is still Greg, myself, E. She is our brewer. She legitimized us when I got her on.
Yeah.
She is, even though we didn't need legitimate, I always felt being called Black Brewers Podcast, we need a brewer.
Yeah.
So E came on. We talked, when we met E and interviewed her, I asked her right away. It was just a good conversation. We talked for like 2 hours. You get, just like me and you when we first talked.
Yeah.
You get that feel, that energy. So Phil had some other things going on in his life. He took a step back.
Yeah.
Which is life.
Yeah.
He's always a part of the group. Anytime he wants to come back on or do anything, the door is wide open because this would have never started without him. We met Quan at our first Dabbler, the Winter Dabbler. And it was just always like seeing the brother at different events. When we saw him at the BCC event when we went to Crew.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time I met him and Jillian. Second time I met him. And then we just kind of kicked it. And then we had him on when we did a 56 episode. And it just kind of grew. We just started talking, and we was like, come on the show. And he just never left.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you little homie. And it's just, we all bring so many different things to the podcast and to the collective, with Greg being a taproom manager, with Quan being a seller, with E being a brewer, with myself being like, I don't know how to even describe myself. I feel like I'm a wizard, magician, Borg, all in one.
17th level wizard of all, jack of all trades.
So we kind of have somewhat of everything in a brewing aspect, in a brewery aspect.
Yeah.
And all of our strengths in different areas make us work as a whole.
Yeah. I think that, it would be kind of selling Black Brewers Podcast short to say it was just about beer.
No.
It's about so much more.
Yeah.
Did that come from those initial conversations about, being black men in this industry?
Yes.
And the pressures, the microaggressions, the frustrations, the joys, all the positive and the negative?
Yeah, that was a central aspect because we knew we were in a unique position as people of color in this industry, especially in Minnesota, right? What is it, 200? How many breweries in Minnesota?
I think we're up to like 220, 225, something like that.
And there is one black-owned brewery. Shout out to Montgomery Charles out there.
Yeah.
There are a couple of people of color in positions of power at different breweries. We have, and then we had, we had Fermentary One, which was a whole nother issue. Yeah. Has been different places. So we've wanted to highlight our experiences, our our laughs, our cries, our frustrations, our triumphs. And I've always will say this is the Black Brewers podcast is like the Brewing Change Collaborative first baby.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I look at it. You know, my first meeting, I was like, I want to start a podcast. And a couple years later, we got a podcast.
Yeah.
And it's been successful. So the Black Brewers podcast would not exist without Brewing Change. Like, being in that group that we're in further lets me know how much our voices are needed. Further lets me push the boundaries. Further lets me, for lack of a better word, poke the bear.
Yes.
Because I don't give a shit.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's very bold, and it's very... one thing I really appreciate is how you all normalize talking about mental health, and especially for males of color.
Yeah.
That's not something that happens often, or at least growing up, that was something that really you were taught to just not even deal with.
No, it's not even a thing. What? Therapy? That's why people shit.
Right. And so, you know, to have open, frank conversations, the mental health check-in, I think that is really refreshing and really empowering to just, you're putting it out there that like, hey, you know, like it's okay to talk about these things.
Yeah.
There's no, this idea of like men have to be a certain way. That's not a thing anymore.
No, we're human beings.
Right.
We have emotions.
Exactly. And I think that's really, you know, the realness of friendship is that you don't have those hang-ups. Like when you're with a close friend, you can talk about anything. And it should be like that. And we should be talking more as even not, we don't have to be close friends. If like somebody's having a bad day, like I want to know about it. Maybe I can do something to help. And that's,
one word can change a whole person's day.
Yeah. And I love how you do that. I also love that, as you mentioned earlier, you have all the different aspects of the beer industry represented on your show. So the first episode, this is year 3?
This is year 3, even though it's season 5. We kind of broke up 2 seasons. Well, 2, we shot a bunch and we kind of broke them up. So that's why the seasons seem weird even to us. We're like, we need to stop calling them seasons.
Yeah. So you've been recording in different places for a while. You were at the Dabbler Depot.
Well, before we were at the Dabbler Depot, we were at Tucson's on-site studio.
That's right, on-site
Shout
media.
out to Tucson Morrison on-site media. They were our first producer, first editors. Without them, we would not be here. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Black Brewers podcast would be nothing without Tucson Morrison and on-site media. They really believed in what we were doing. Tucson saw something in us when even though we talked about it for a while, even when we kind of couldn't see it. Yeah, I know Greg and Phil were very, very nervous. If I can speak for them because they've never done anything like that, and I've been around the block with the podcast, even though it's a different format now. It's the same thing, right? And so. It's another one of those serendipity moments, like just getting in the industry, how I met Katie and met Ramsey and all those. I met Tucson through Jennifer Schellenberg, you know, Jenny, who works with me at Arbiter at Palmer's. Yeah. So she introduced me to him. We did a video shoot. Okay. And then I interviewed some people for the city council in Minneapolis. So when we finally got, I'm in the 5th Ward, I interviewed one of I can't remember her name. I went to school with her. Anyway, when we finally kind of had it out, we were like, well, we need to find a producer, recorder, and all these things. And it was kind of like this big thing. And I was like, hold on, let me just ask my guy. I asked Tucson. He was like, let's go. Yeah. Like a match made in heaven.
And he, you know, for those of you who don't know Tucson Morrison, he does so many different things. Yeah. He is so incredibly talented. Yeah. An actor, a musician.
Grammy-winning
producer.
Producer.
Like, If I had a quarter of his talent, I would be so happy with life.
He is one of the most. Like, I know I'm outgoing and vibrant, but he got me beat.
Oh yeah, he's on his own level.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are currently recording
at the Legacy House. We have partnered up this last year with Illism. Shout out to Fancy and Emmanuel. They run the Legacy House. It is a all-in-one recording studio, editing studio, podcast place. It's a black space for black creatives, honestly. And I'm very thankful to have connected with them last year. And they put on the Soul of the Southside event at Juneteenth, which we will be doing another live episode this year. And
nice.
And our reclaimed beer will be at Arbeiter this year since Clutch closed.
Okay.
So, but no, I met them last year, right before our Frequency Shift release, when they were setting up the Soul of the Southside. Garth introduced me to him, and it's again serendipity. Like, he knows my sister-in-law. Like, we've ended up figuring out, like, we probably met each other as teenagers.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's the weird thing.
Minnesota's like one big small town.
Yeah, Northside Minneapolis is what we always say. 3 degrees of separation in the black community in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
You know 3 people, you know everyone.
Yes.
So, like, we ran in the same circles. We probably saw each other, just didn't recognize, being young people. Yeah. And he's a little bit younger than I am, too, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's been a fruitful partnership. They do great work. I try to utilize them in as many ways as we can, honestly.
That's awesome. So, you have a podcast. I have a podcast.
Yes.
We're both people of color.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Because you don't see people of color in this industry. So it's important to get our stories out, because if our stories are out, they can be left by the wayside, like a lot of things that happen in history. We talked about it in the beginning. People think brewing is white, male-dominated. The first brewers in the whole world were African black women.
Yes.
You tell a brewer that now, they look at you like you crazy.
Yeah.
But, it's proven. I was literally just at CBC a couple weeks ago, and we talked about that with Elise. Shout out to Elise Bowens Mercado, owner of Rhythm Brewery. We talked about women brewers, and Garrett Oliver, how women brewers were the first brewers, and talked about new grains being grown back in Africa. So, like, as he put it, as they both put it, this isn't something that we haven't known.
Right.
Other people are just being introduced to us knowing it.
Right.
That's the difference. The stories they told, like Garrett said his grandfather made beer during Prohibition.
Yeah.
At least her grandmother made moonshine. So you hear these stories from people of color, and it lets you know we've been in all these things.
Yeah.
Native American, indigenous people here, they were making beer.
Yes.
Well before white men came over here with their Manifest Dynasty.
Yeah.
So there's nothing new under the sun. That's the one thing I hate and love about this time. We have all the technology and all the resources, but nobody wants to do the fucking work.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of stays just asleep.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why our stories need to be told.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, like, I don't know, I mean, before I knew what Brewing Change Collaborative was, I didn't really have, like, people that really kind of understood sometimes when I would have reservations about maybe going to a brewery or a certain brewery.
Yep.
And it's just like, so you wind up just like kind of struggling with that.
Yeah.
On your lonesome in the craft beer thing.
Yep.
And even like at the school I was at, teaching wise, like we did not have a very diverse staff at all. For the most part, I was one of the handful of people of color on staff.
Yeah.
And we would do a lot of diversity training. And then
was it led by a person of color?
Unfortunately, no, not all the time.
Well,
actually, a couple of times when well, right, exactly. Yeah, it was most of the time it was led by a early 50s
white
ridden white woman who,
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't a good training if she didn't cry, and that was always, well, you know, it is what it is. But,
White tears.
yeah, white tears, white guilt, a white savior. It's all, but you know, like you know, and people would. People would come to me as the token person of color on staff and just think I have all the answers. And
Oh my God!
That is very. It's a lot of pressure and it's very exhausting. And you know, in craft beer, it was a different kind of a thing because trying to first of all trying to connect with other people of color was difficult because, like you say, on the outside looking in, craft breweries were not necessarily always a welcoming space.
Nope.
And, you know, now that brewing change is such a big part of our lives, we don't need to feel like we're on our own island.
No.
And I'm hoping that, you know, as people of color are hearing our stories, that they might be motivated to kind of like we were back in the day. Like, hey, like let's amplify our voices and let's provide a platform for others to amplify their voices.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other podcasts there are, like produced, created, run by people of color. And I'd like to see more of that. But I guess, you know, in the grand scheme of things, change takes time.
Yep.
And I'm just really happy that you are doing what you're doing with the people that you're doing it with, because I think that's a really powerful thing. And I like the show. Since you've done it, you are at all the things. You get press passes to do stuff. You recently returned from the Craft Brewers Conference out in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Tell me what that was like.
Craft Brewers Conference is always amazing. I went to my first CBC when it was here, so it was very easy to attend. And, you know, shout out to Arbiter who gave me passes and allowed me to go to the convention center and just immerse myself in the culture. And how the CBC thing started, it was after. Did you go to the first Thrive event when CBC was here? Where Dr. J spoke at the opening of CBC when it was
didn't.
here. So there was this panel that they have, which the panel we were on called Thrive.
Yeah.
And so I went to the panel, got to meet her, and you know the first night was the official after party at Arbiter, if you remember.
I was there.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
So, that to me was a significant moment in Black beer life for me, and I'm sure for a lot of us, because we were all in the back.
Yes.
And you know how we do. We call it the barbecue, the picnic, you know.
The cookout.
The cookout. And you cannot come unless you have an invite.
Right.
Right? And so we called it that. So the next year, I went to GABF that year. And then I just started seeing people again. And I started fostering relationships. I fostered them already when the podcast first started, and then when CBC was here, and the last day I gave you the pass to go in, and I took some people who wanted to go see George Floyd Square.
Yeah.
Celeste, Betty, one of my first mentors, she opened the first Black woman-owned brewery in Harlem Brewery, like 26 years ago.
Yeah, that was super fun talking with her and hanging out with her.
So I've always been able to just shoot the shit. I guess what they say. I'm a people person, even though I am very much, people don't know this. I am very much an introvert. I just know how to turn the shit on and off.
Yeah.
It's the Capricorn in me.
Yeah.
So fast forward now. I went to CBC last year. Dr. J. Johnson Beckham, shouts out to the Brewers Association, DEI partner, Dr. J. Johnson Beckham. She pushed me to do the mentorship program. Now, we were the last recipients of the BA micro grant.
Okay.
That is literally how this Black Brewers podcast thing started. We had some ideas, but once we got the $5,000 and got that got that grant,
Okay.
took off running. So Dr. J, we've always had a close relationship since the cookout. And so last year at CBC, she was like, dude, you got to do the mentorship program. You got to do the mentorship program. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it in the fall, spring festival. So I did the mentorship program. During the mentorship program, she emailed and asked, the last 2 years, we've had some type of film doc for Thrive. They had One Pint Stand, which is different from a One Pint Stand.
Yeah.
Their film the first year about George Floyd and about breweries and people of color. And then last year they had the Black is Beautiful documentary. So she hit us up like, yeah, we don't have a film this year. What would it look like for you guys to be on the Thrive panel and talk about storytelling in craft beer from a person of color's perspective?
Oh, cool.
So I didn't even tell the guys. I just said, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it.
No, we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
monumental.
such a natural fit.
Yeah.
You're doing it already.
Yeah. And she was actually our first actual big guest, national prominent guest.
Yeah.
So shouts out to Dr. J. I can never give enough
Brilliant
love to Dr. J.
speaker, super fun to hang out with.
Yeah. One of the most intellectual persons, like her, Celeste, Elise, Garrett Oliver, Taylor. We have so many brilliant minds in our industry that no one knows about. And this is why these things are important.
Yeah. Well, what strikes me about Dr. J is I've heard her speak. I heard her speak back in 2018 at the Craft Beer Bloggers and Writers Conference out in...
was that Denver?
That was out in Virginia.
Okay.
And, there was a panel, and they actually, this was the second beer bloggers and writers conference I went to. The first one was in Milwaukee, and they had a panel on diversity, and there was no diversity on the panel.
Yeah. I like how they call them panels
Yeah, that's
when
right.
there's no people to represent the panel. Anyway,
but in Virginia, she spoke, and I was blown away by just her insane level of knowledge and perspective. But you know how some intellectuals are, they know a lot, but they can't really transfer that information in an accessible way. And she does that so well. When she was, when CBC was here, I got the chance to talk to her a little bit, and just like in every person, like she has every reason to be intimidating because of who she is and what she's achieved.
But
and
she's not.
Just fun to have a beer with and fun to talk with.
Yeah.
The same with Celeste.
Yeah.
We watched the
Garrett Oliver.
A lot of those people that have really forged they've forged paths.
Yep.
And they are luminaries in this industry. And you have a conversation with them, and they just make you feel welcome. They make you feel like you belong. And I think that is because, as people of color, we haven't always been that way. So when you find somebody that you meet, you're just naturally open, inclusive.
Yeah.
And that's really the joy that beer is. It should be that way. And I think if we continue to tell our stories and amplify other voices of individuals who are maybe not well represented in certain spaces, it will get that way.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're doing good work.
We are. It's so funny you say that because, again, we know this. When you go into a grocery store, you go into a brewery and you see that other black person, right? There is that unspoken. You don't got a head nod. You could head nod. You could do it, whatever. But your eyes are speaking.
Yes.
You I always akin it to Avatar. Aowa. What did he say? Aowa. I see you.
Yeah.
Anytime people of color now, white people, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Notice this. I'm going to say it really slow. Notice. When you see a black person see another black person, look in their eyes. There is an immediate, I ain't the only one, and I see you, and I got you. Something goes off.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's that recognition, like you just said, they are luminaries, but also we've all had our trials and tribulations in this industry, and we all know how it feels to be excluded or to be minimized or to be dismissed. So it makes it easier for us to come together because we have so much shared experience in the industry.
Yeah.
It really breaks down well, super easy.
That is well said. All right, I'm staring at 2 empty pint glasses.
Yes.
So let's take a break because I wanna get a pour of the collab beer.
Yes.
And we're gonna leave you hanging and tell you what that's all about when we come back. You're listening to a 1 pint stand here at Wooden Ship Brewing. We'll be back. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying a 1 pint stand. My aim is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A 1 pint stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow a 1 pint stand on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify and iTunes to help make it easier for other craft beer listeners to find us. If you like reading about craft beer, I started my own blog, and all of my writing can be found at a1pintstand.com. After 8 years of writing as editor-in-chief at Beer Pluma, it was time for me to start my own blog. So make sure you check out the blog for some interesting craft beer content of the written variety. I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Now, back to the show.
How about a beer?
And we're back
Hello, America.
with some hot mics and some cold beers. You're listening to a 1 pint stand. I'm here with my good buddy Anthony. We're recording at Wooden Ship, and it's like, I mean, Minnesota, weather-wise, there's not much great things to say, but on a day like today, it's like low 70s. There's a slight breeze. The patio is packed. This is not a big tap room.
No.
This is not a big. This is tiny. It's usually nuts to butts if the weather's not good, but like
It will be later.
yes, it will be
Trivia.
Oh, trivia.
Later.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine that the trivia goes over well here. This is one of those like places I'm like never happened upon because like I don't know, driving through here is like
the neighborhood.
parade of homes. I'm like, I feel like I'm not even the right tax bracket to be driving by.
No, I call it a Dyna Light.
Yeah, it's something. We're in Linden Hills, and we're having a good time. And right now, we're sipping on this collab beer between the Black Brewers podcast and Wooden Ship Brewing Company. Hit 'em with some more, an English Golden Ale. So, Anthony, I want you to tell me about this beer collab. This is one of many beer collaborations that the Black Brewers podcast has done over the years. And I guess the one thing that they all have in common is they're all unique and all quite delicious. So tell me about this beer.
This beer came from the mind of our brewer, Ian, Josh, and Abby, the brewers. So Josh is owner brewer here. Abby, head brewer. Abby's pretty much the head brewer actually at this point.
Yeah.
She
is the lady of the brew house.
lady of the brew house,
Yes.
the award-winning
Yes.
collaboration beer.
That Hellas was
Amazing.
delicious.
Yes.
Yes.
And they shouts out to the ladies in Minnesota, the women brewers. They team nevertheless. They are forging a path that is unprecedented and powerful to see as people of color. They're women. You know, it's they're parallels.
Yes.
And they give me inspiration all the time. But back to collabs. I've always wanted to do beer. BCC inspired all this. Let's just be fair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I first met BCC at a collab, and I saw what the collabs with Brewing Change Collaborative were kind of changing the game in a way. At least to me it was.
Yeah.
It's very important to me as a person of color to see, oh, Inbound, y'all did this collab. First of all, the ingredients, where do y'all even know what to use with that? Because they're significant to people of color. You know, and that was the biggest thing I wanted to do when we started doing collabs that we wanted to do. We wanted to be representative of our culture. We have 200 and like whatever breweries here, right?
Yeah.
Predominantly 98% white men.
Yep.
How many times can you make the same beer when you have the same think space?
All the time.
Exactly. So we come from a culture that is expressive. We come from a culture, sometimes to the good or bad, that, you know, uses a lot of different spice, heat, you know, whatever. So we've tried to keep in mind being cognizant of who we are at our core. We are people of color.
Yeah.
Our tastes are different. Just like if I were an indigenous person or if I were France or Russian, you know, you have your culture, you have your ethnicity. The only difference with our ethnicity is we don't know it. So we have an Americanized case system for people of color in all ways, right? But we also know that soul food is big. Mm-hmm. Everything we touch turns to gold. Let's just be very, very fair.
Yeah.
And so
even this beer has a golden color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things is we don't want to do stuff anybody else does. How many times can you do a hazy?
Right.
How many times can you do a double IPA or triple IPA?
According to Black Stack, 3,872 times.
Or according to a horrible brewery, gross.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but we know who we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Inside joke.
If the pants fit, wear them.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, yes. They're on fire. But no, seriously, we really wanted to be representative of our culture. And that drives every collab. Like, this is a British Golden Ale, right? Mm-hmm. It's an old style.
Yeah.
You don't see many breweries brewing it. E is a connoisseur of beer. She researches. She has recipes for her own brewery already.
Yeah.
Like, this woman is so, I don't even know the word. She's so ahead of the curve, not just in Minnesota, to me.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think that, like, when you're thinking about, like, she's innovative.
yes,
You know,
exactly.
in a way,
exactly.
because and kind of like what you said about, like, how many times can you brew the same beer?
Yep.
Well, under that umbrella, it's like, this is what we know.
Yeah.
I think if you are a thinker and you see the world differently, you don't see the boundaries.
Yeah.
You see the places to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably how her mind works when it comes to recipes or beers that she wants to brew or drink.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because we've become just used to stuff, and, you know, brewers, there are BJCP style guidelines, and I think a lot of brewers like to stay within those boundaries because I think there's two types of drinkers. There's drinkers that want to drink a good beer, whether that's to style or maybe a hybrid.
Yep.
And there's brewers that are very, very particular
Yeah.
about, this is not to style, I can't enjoy it.
Yep.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But how do you get these other things that come out of styles? Again, a British Golden Strong is an American ale.
Yeah.
An American ale is a British Golden Strong.
Yes.
Just changed.
Yes.
So if you don't allow creativity, you never have innovation, as you're saying.
So this can is cool. It's basically looks like a field of barley or some type of grain or grass.
We've actually, because it's a British Golden Strong, the Moors.
Oh, sure.
It's that Lon Chaney, Where Within London, the Moors.
Yes.
That's why it's called Hit 'em with some Moors.
Okay.
But it's also double entendre with Moors.
Yes.
the Moors from Spain,
Yes.
who gave them civilization.
Okay.
So-
I knew there was like something
Oh,
more
yeah.
going on there.
Oh, everyone we do. Everyone.
Yeah.
We are very, that's another thing I love about when we do collabs. We are very, it's like, I'm a wrestling fan, as most people who know me know.
Yes.
And I love, the thing about wrestling I love is the psychology. It is not just the moves and the bigger than life things, right? It's the psychology. It's how does point A get to point B? Now, I apply that to beer. We wanted to do a British Golden Ale. How do we represent us, but represent the style with the Moors, the actual Moors?
Yeah.
Represent us with the Moors, and then represent the style origin of Britain, a Moor.
Yeah.
So it's all these little layers of things that I don't think most people probably think about. Like people see our can art and our things, and they're like, "Oh, that's dope." But
Yeah.
there are so many intricate
There's a
things
lot
that
of
goes
like
into it.
historical Easter eggs, a lot
Yep.
of like connections.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. So, when does this beer release? When can people get their hands on this? Because this beer is kind of perfect for the weather that we're
Oh, yeah.
experiencing right now.
Yeah, it releases this Friday. We're gonna have our release party here at 7 p.m. It'll be on tap when we open at 12 noon Friday. Normally I work, but I'm off.
Hey,
Gotta get my party legs in. And we release it this week. As with every beer, proceeds go to beer diversity.
Okay.
Ren Navarro. I'm sure you
Oh,
remember
yeah,
Ren
yeah.
Navarro.
Okay.
I reached out to her and wanted to really help bring about actual DEI with people of color leading DEI, because you can't call it DEI if you don't have people of color leading it. At least in my opinion.
That is a fact.
But
that's a fact.
Going into this year, like again, this is our third year. We've always donated, had a donation. I was adamant going into this year. If we want to move to a next level, and again, we are still infants. Don't get me wrong. We're still crawling. I don't even think we sat up yet, right? But there's a vision to be on a national stage, not to make money. If that happens, it comes, right?
Right, yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
But that's not the end goal.
But that's not the end goal.
Yeah.
The goal is the vision. So every year at CBC, every year at beer festivals here, I like to say I'm like a president. I'm shaking hands, kissing babies. I'm facilitating conversation because I know what we have is unique. I know that our stories need to be told. And so going into this year, I was done doing Minnesota donations.
Okay.
All of our donations have been Black nonprofit organizations throughout the nation. The first one we did with Arbiter was NB2A, the National Black Brewers Association, and we did BIPOC Indigenous Women in Beer, Lifting Lucy. This next one we're doing Ren Navarro with Beer Diversity Group. Look her up on Instagram. So there is very much a through line on from the time we write a recipe to where money's being doled out to.
Yeah.
Nothing just happens. This is very thought out. It's very strategic.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's really important. And I think that's, if people are listening to this and they're like, what is the Black Brewers podcast? They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're
X.
everywhere.
We need to pick up our TikTok and our Snapchat, but I don't really care about those. We're on Instagram. We're on Snap. We're on Threads. We're on Facebook. I said X. I keep wanting to say Twitter. It's Twitter.
Fuck X. Twitter. Yeah. It's Twitter. We all know it's Twitter.
Yeah.
Like
the little blue bird.
The little blue bird. Yeah.
But no, we're everywhere. We post. And if you have a question, if you want to talk with us or collab or anything, email us, blackbrewerpodcast@gmail.com. DM us on Instagram. Get a hold of us, man. We love to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Plug, promo.
Exactly.
Hint,
so
hint.
I want to get into this beer a little bit. What I like about it is it drinks very clean. It's not heavy. You said 5.5 ABV.
Yep.
I think that's really important. I've noticed an industry trend over the last probably couple of years of like a lot of the beers are coming down in ABV, and I think that's kind of probably responsive to how people's drinking habits are changing.
Yep.
But I love to do this. I love to sit across the table from a friend, chit chat, have some beers, solve all the world's problems, and just be.
Yeah,
you know, this is time well spent. I think that that's why craft breweries exist. But if the lowest ABV beer on your tap list is 7.8%, I can't do that for as long.
No.
Or if I do, watch out.
Yeah.
Move the women and children aside, and there better be a food truck.
That is when Uber's on standby.
That's right. Right.
No, but I agree with you. And this is one of the reasons why I love working at Wooden Ship, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Different beer styles. It'll be a year. It's been a year already, because right after CBC Nashville, I started packaging here. So I've been here about a year.
Yeah. Now, how many? So, really quick. Sorry to interrupt, but you have brewed. You have worked at several craft breweries. You have trying to keep track of where you're at day to day.
Okay, so
it's tricky.
I will give you my beer journey.
Yes.
I started at Inbound in 2018, 2019. While I was at Inbound, pandemic shit happened.
Yeah.
I also got a job at Prize.
Okay.
So I was there. So a lot of my breweries have kind of crossed over. So I was at Prize. I left Inbound after Fermentary 1 went down because of some issues I had with leadership there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it. Still love everybody over there. I know they've learned some lessons from conversations. I will give them that.
Yeah.
Then I was at Prize. I was at Prize, and, as you know, knowing people through BCC, I met Juno, and we talked for the whole summer of coming out of COVID before they opened. And I told him, dude, I want to work for you.
Yeah.
We know each other, don't know each other very, very well, but we're getting to know each other. When I was speaking of Rob, who works at Inbound, during COVID, I was working for his wife at farmers markets.
That's right.
Berlin,
yes.
Selling empanadas. So,
and they are delicious.
They are
Quebracho
delicious.
empanadas.
Yeah.
They're in
Quebracho.
grocery stores
They're in grocery
now.
stores. Go check them out. I recommend them to anybody. Shout out Berlin. Shout out Rob. Love y'all. So I knew Juno, but I got to know him more when I was doing the farmers market right there in the field next to Moon Got His Books. So I would see him every day. He would come over there, do his little shopping at the farmers market. And I'm like, man, what's up, Juno? I heard you open a brewery right here. So one day he was like, when you get off, come over there. So I go over there. There's nothing in there. Now, I didn't know they had the building for 3 years prior.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I go in there. I meet Aaron. I meet Josh and Garth. For the next couple of months, we're just shooting. I would go over there and shoot the shit every Saturday with them. And I was just like, hey, I want a job. I want a job. Now, mind you, you got to hedge your bets, right? Well, work.
Yeah.
I'm at Prize. I had applied for lead packaging at Prize. Got the job at Arbeiter. Got an interview for lead packaging, knowing I was kind of going to get lead packaging at Arbeiter. So, when I went for my second interview, I turned it down. And I never forgot why one of the supervisors above me asked. I was like, I don't have an issue with Prize. You make okay beer. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
They make okay beer. I said, I always felt like an outsider sitting outside. And this is even coming from working in packaging. Again, that comfort level.
Yeah.
I live right down the street from there. You know where I live.
Right.
I live 2 miles.
Hops
from
come to
there.
jump.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do when I sit outside or I sit in the tap room, even if people see me, because you can see the windows, why do I feel foreign and alien? I knew I couldn't take it. Now, at first, I wanted the job.
Yeah.
I wanted it. But then I just sat and thought. There was 2 things. That was the number one, first of all. Second, I told him, I was like, I think y'all are content. You're not trying to be innovative. Yes, this is beer, craft beer, and Some things are what they are, right? You need a hazy. You need certain things in order to make money. Don't get me wrong, right? Because it's a business. At the end of the day, you got to pay bills.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to cater to certain things. But at the same time, there's so many breweries out here that are like, for instance, wooden shit, right?
Yeah.
Like that aren't afraid to throw shit at the wall. And if I'm at a brewery where, first of all, I don't feel comfortable even coming into work, not the people I work with.
Yeah.
Just coming into work, my bad. And I've been very lucky to not have experienced some of the things I've seen other people experience in this industry.
Right.
I honestly think because of who I am and how I'm very forthright, it's helped alleviate some things. But I saw some things. Me and Abby, we passed that prize.
Yeah.
I met Abby at Prize. I met Sophia at Prize. You know, so many people I met there. Josh.
Yeah,
Joshua.
Yeah.
So, like, I saw how people were being treated. I didn't like it. Yeah, the people who treated them bad were cool with me, and I understand why they were cool with me because I'm the type of person, if I applied for the job, right? But the person who's hiring me for the job, he's running the packaging line, and then when something goes down, everybody's walking around. I'm like, what the fuck is that? How does that work to that? It's just my brain.
Yeah.
My brain is like analytical. I am a Vulcan Borg hybrid.
Yeah.
So I want to know all the details, which I think has endeared me in this industry because it is about knowing your shit, being able to think on your feet. If you fuck something up, how can you fix it?
Right.
It literally is. This is a solutions-oriented job.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's endeared me. But I've also seen, at the same time, people being dismissed.
Yes.
Women being dismissed. People of color being dismissed. And so I gotta move. You know, I'm not gonna be somewhere where I know a friend of mine is being treated poorly.
Right.
You know, so inbound to Prize to Arbeiter to Dangerous Man.
Yeah.
To here. And again, everything has coincided. I've worked at least two for the most part. I started at Arbeiter. I was still at Prize. Left Prize, was at Arbeiter, went to Dangerous Man. I'm still at Arbeiter.
Yeah.
Still at Arbeiter. I picked up some stuff here, independent contracting. That's how I got on here. So I've learned in these 5-6 short years, and like I said, I've been in retail management 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But I've learned in these short years how to make myself accessible, how to make myself valuable. So I wanna go back for a second.
Yeah.
And talk about mental health and then come back to this because it's a big thing and it's why my outlook is the way I look. At 40, when I tried to kill myself, I've been suicidal since I was like 9 or 10. The reason why I didn't kill myself years earlier, I was taking care of my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
I was the oldest. Then I had my sons at 24 and 26. At a certain point, at 41, my brain said, you've given them everything you can as black men. They have great mothers. They are turning out to be beautiful, caring, empathetic black men. There's nothing holding you anymore, right? All the sorrow you feel, fuck it. God had a different plan. I don't know if you call him God, Krishna, I don't care.
Yeah. A higher
It's
power.
a higher power.
Yeah.
I tried to kill myself. Took a whole bunch of pills. Nothing even happened. But it was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting my place where I'm at now. And I'll never forget this. I was just broke up with someone. My birthday, January 5th, 42 years old. I'm driving to get my stuff from the ex's house. 8 in the morning. I'm getting on 94 off of Dollar. One of my tires is bald at the time. I hit black ice. I'm going down 94, going to like St. Paul.
Yeah.
I hit the black ice and my car turns. Oncoming traffic. Now, I am, if you turn in oncoming traffic, your head is facing the traffic. A semi-truck took off the mirror next to my head. Got the car back, pulled off the side, was crying, called my mom. And Mom, I can't go get this stuff, blah, 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 blah. She's like, no, You are finally on your path. You're taking care of some stuff. Go get the stuff. Take the streets. 6 hours later, my mom gets into an accident on her oldest son's birthday and walks away. We both walked away from that. That, to me, again, the months before, I tried to kill myself. Almost a year later, I almost died on my birthday. That was the confirmation that I am supposed to be here, and whatever I'm moving in at this point in my life, I am doing the right thing. And I was already in craft beer. So that's why I talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Because if one person heard my story, because it took a lot of people telling me things for it to click eventually, right? People were telling me for years. You know, when you're in your own mind, you can't hear nobody else. All you can see is the darkness. I know that struggle intimately, and I know what that feels like. I did it for 30 years. I felt like a zombie for 30 years. I had no aspirations, no goals. My only thing was make sure they're better than me. And so when I had that breakthrough, there is something in me that will never stop wanting to give back. Because again, you know me, we're standing on shoulders. If it wasn't for, Gordon Parks or people at Rondo or MLK or Marcus Garvey, or we can keep the list going, right? We would not be in the position we're in to sit in this brewery, sitting on microphones, but we're comfortable in this brewery.
Yeah.
This wouldn't happen if we weren't standing on some shoulders of some giants who came before us. So those are the reasons why I am the way I am. I move the way I am. I refuse to take no for an answer the way I do at this point. I just don't. I give no fucks. Because honestly, at the end of the day, America, y'all owe us.
Yeah.
And y'all not going to give us no money, at least not at this point. So let me figure out what y'all going to give me. And I don't mean that in a, like, I need this, I'm greedy. No, I'm old stuff. Yeah. And what I'm doing and what we're doing, what you're doing, what I'm doing is important enough to say, hey, you need to help. You need to help.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things I want to say. First of all, thank you for being open and sharing that. That's a lot. Second of all, I'm glad we're sitting across the table.
Yeah.
You know I love you.
I know. I love you too, my brother.
And when we hang out, there's nothing but love.
Yeah, we like little freaking. We're like when you left grade school. We're like them grade school kids. We're like sixth grade boys when we get together.
And it's so wonderful to be sitting here talking. But it all goes back to brewing change.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've tried to explain to people what brewing change means. Tried to, talking to friends and friends who have known me since I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
They're like, what? Yeah. What? Tell me about this thing. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's the family that you didn't have, that you didn't know you needed.
Yep.
And when you met them, you can't imagine life without them.
So that's so funny you say that. I've been telling the guys that about CBC.
Yeah.
Right? And they've been asking me for the last week, what is it like? What's it like? And at the last day, when we were at the beer takeover, right, Quan was like, bro, now I know why you couldn't talk about it. I said, this is BCC, but on a bigger scale. He's like, bro, this is just so crazy. Like, I didn't know, even though we're small, I didn't know we have this impact. I'm like, dude. And I'm not meaning just the podcast. I'm talking about the 1% of us in craft beer.
People of color.
In craft beer.
Yeah.
Like we are tight. We're extended family. It's like BCC is our what is it called with your brothers and sisters family, your nuclear family?
Yes.
CBC, when MB12, all that is the extended family right there.
Yeah.
That's aunts, uncles, cousins, you know what I'm saying? In-law, cousins, and it was beautiful to see it in their eyes. And so when you brought up BCC, it is hard to explain.
Yeah.
Because people be like, well, what do y'all do? What don't we do?
Yeah.
Is the better question, honestly.
But I feel like every time there's a BCC, a formal meeting, a casual hangout, retreat, anything, like it is just like, it's it's just like soul enriching stuff.
I wish we were on video right now if they saw me laughing, because you know why I'm laughing.
Yes. Okay, so every year BCC does a retreat. Okay, so it's and typically it will be outside the 494 or 694 loop, someplace
that you don't see a lot of people of color.
Right.
Let's
yes.
just
Exactly.
be fair.
Yes. And so, like, the first one was in Brainerd.
Yeah.
The second one was in.
Was that Mora?
Mora.
Ooh.
The third one was in Minong, Wisconsin.
Minong, which was the best one, actually.
That was very fun.
We broke a streak.
Yes. And so and it's a weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and we typically get a large. Like a cabin, because there's a bunch of people that come.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I want to hear your, what do you love most about the BCC retreat?
Honestly, you know this already. It's two things. Being an idiot with my friends.
Yes.
Like, for real. Like,
Yes.
being an idiit, everybody know. Blue bonnets.
Yes, that's right.
Shantae, that was for you.
If Bree hears this is
my
when
God.
she's going to turn the volume off.
But it's for you too, Bree. But it honestly is just being with my family. We see each other, right?
Yeah.
Throughout, going to a brewery or but we don't get to hang. Mm-hmm. This is us as the family. Like, we can do yoga. We can go out. I can shoot Shantae with a bow and arrow for 2 years in a row. Playing the Olympics. But my favorite part, honestly, is playing games, whether it be the Olympics or card games, and then cooking with you and Sophia.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm at a point now where I'm like, nobody else can cook with them. It's us three. Like,
Right.
we get a whole day.
Yeah.
Like that. Again, we've been friends. Me and Sophia have been friends since back there. And then we're all so different and unique. We all love cooking.
Yeah.
We all love beer in different ways. And we just mesh so well. So when we cooked that first year, it was like magical.
Yes.
And it was like, I got to do this every year with these two people.
Yeah, and I think so the cooking is obviously a really big part of it. One of my favorite things, in addition to acting like an idiot with my friends, is, like, I know how to play spades, but my favorite thing is to watch you and Wes play spades, because y'all get so damn competitive.
This is why we said we have to be on the team together, because we probably kill each other.
I honestly thought, I was like, somebody is going to get punched. This is elevating quickly. This is.
Hey, man, I come from an old black house.
I mean, Wes talks a ridiculous amount of trash.
Oh, my God. I talk
you,
a lot of trash.
You start off even keel, but then you can only be that way for so long.
Listen, so speaking of spades, let me just interject here. When it comes to board games and spades, I preface playing with people, because I need people to understand I'm a Capricorn. I am highly competitive. And first of all, I'm not going to play anything I know I can't win. So just put that out there.
Right.
If I'm playing you on something, I know I can win. I may not win. And I'm a horrible loser. But also, I'm going to preface it by saying, whatever I say to you from the time this game starts till it ends, don't take it seriously. I'm trying to get in your head. I might talk about your mama. If you got kids, I'm going to talk about your kids. I'm going to talk about your clothes. It's a competition. It's the wrestler in me.
Yes.
It's the macho man.
And
Hogan.
there was
You want my woman.
there was a point, and I'm like, okay, sitting here watching you. I think it was you, Wes, Marcus, Shantae. I'm sitting there just watching.
I think Shantae quit.
And yeah, she stepped away, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have brought my podcasting equipment, because this would have made for highly must-listen material. Now, I want to talk about that meal we cooked that first night. It was kind of a thrown together, kind of off the cuff.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you had prepped
lamb and rabbit. So I'm a foodie. We all know this.
Yes.
If you don't know, Anthony is a foodie.
You cannot follow Anthony on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
You when you cook, you are so organized when you cook. You take the first picture of all the ingredients, the mise en place is all laid out, and then like you show the stages of it, and then the finished thing, and it's just like, and you always have the Baby Yoda.
The Baby Yoda, man. It's my signature, like my beard.
Yes. And the hat flip.
Yes, the hat flip. Karaoke, definitely. I have a lot of signatures. But no, what I like doing is I rarely cook anything twice, period. Like, there's so much good food out there. There's so many cultural delicacies, different things of different, and again, it goes back to like we have everything at our disposal in these things we call phones. I'm always looking for a new recipe.
Yeah.
So I had already bought a young rabbit from United Noodle and some lamb. And I'm like, ooh, we going on this retreat for like 3 days. I don't know what I'm going to cook, but I'm bringing this.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it. Whatever we do, this will go. You know, I've always wanted to cook for BCC in that manner. Like we've cooked, but it's just been like breakfast or something. Yeah. But I wanted to elevate my cooking for my family. And so when me, you, and Sophia got together and figured out we were cooking together, I'm like, I got this. And both of you jumped in like, this will go with this. This will go with this. And the hardest part for me was the rabbit. Like, I knew I was going to marinate the lamb pretty much all day.
Yep.
So we marinated the lamb, but we did 2 different marinades for the rabbit. And what I did with the rabbit, I threw it on the grill. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Grill it, make it quick, see how it turns out. If it doesn't turn out, it doesn't turn out. So and everybody was so scared to eat rabbit. Remember?
Yeah, I'm like,
it was the first thing gone.
I mean, yeah.
It was the first thing gone.
Looking back, we should have had 4 of those.
I mean, we know where to get them. United Noodle. Right.
Yeah, that was just fun. I think like everybody has their own love language.
Yeah.
You know, like how do you show somebody that you really appreciate them? And for me, it's cooking. It's food.
It's
There's
communal.
something so important about food. I mean, it's a basic human need.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you cook something for somebody that takes time, takes thought, it's like that's a big hug. It's a big hug.
That is true.
One forkful at a time.
Yeah.
And that was just fun. I mean, cooking with you all was just a wonderful experience. So we just like. It was like a 3-piece jazz ensemble.
And
like we played off each other.
We played oldies. So I'm a firm believer. If anybody has ever watched my Instagram, I need to get back to it. But when I cook with love. Yes. And the reason why I say I cook with love because I'm playing. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm playing quiet storm. I'm playing baby making music when I cook. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I got some Teddy, some Luther, some Marvin Gaye because. If you love what you do, you're not doing it. If you love what you do, it's not a job, right?
Right.
I love cooking. And I used to hate cooking because I had to cook growing up for mother and sisters. I got it back after my whole, attempt with suicide. I got my joy in certain things back.
Yeah.
And for me, like, if I'm stressed out, if I get home from this job and I'm stressed, I might not even eat it, but I'm going to cook.
Yeah.
Because it's going to de-stress
It's
me.
cathartic.
Yes. It is
People
my
are like,
stress
why do you
relief.
cook all the time? Why don't you just because the simple act of chopping an onion.
Thank you.
One knife stroke at a time just peels off the layers of stress and negativity, whatever it may be that happened that day. And it's nice. It's beautiful. There's also something really cool. I think about I'm not a brewer. I have huge respect for brewers because they can put together a list of ingredients and work their magic. And we get to enjoy what we're enjoying in this glass.
Yeah.
I think when you can transform just 3 or 4 things that on their own are tasteless or just and then you give it to somebody wow, that's really cool. That's
it is
really I feel like a sense of accomplishment when I do that. So our wooden ship. This they just had their 3rd anniversary party last weekend. It's
May the 4th be with you.
yes, and May the 4th be with you.
And I was actually Yoda, if you ask people here.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I had a Yoda mask on. Talk like this all day, Dan. Yeah.
This is a cool spot. It's very much feels like it fits the neighborhood. It's not a gargantuan. There's not a lot of sharp edges in this tap room.
No.
And I think that the tap list really reflects kind of like the more modern take on a craft brewery.
Yeah.
What do you like about this place? I mean, obviously you've been to several different places in many different capacities, but the one thing you don't do is you don't work for a place that sucks.
No.
What do you like? Tell people, like, if somebody hasn't been to Wooden Ship yet, why should they stop in?
You're going to see two things. First, a dedicated staff and beers you won't see anywhere else. Like, if you're going to a tap room, let's be fair. You're going for beer. Like, let's pull all the pretense away. We really don't have flagships.
Yeah.
That is the first thing you notice. The second thing you'll notice, you'll be like, oh, what is that? Like, you'll see things that you might have never seen or only heard about. And there's always a Saison on.
Yes.
For the most part. Josh, our owner, he is a Saison head. We're not afraid to throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
And for me, working here, I know this is going to sound weird to some people because I worked at a lot of different places. This is the most diverse staff I've worked with.
Yeah.
Like myself, Shantae, who's also a BCC member. We have people who are trans, non-binary. We reflect what America should be.
Yes.
What it should be.
And one important thing I think that people need to know that it's not just one role at the brewery. It's multi-tiered roles.
Yeah. Every brewery I've worked at, I've done more than one thing.
Yeah.
I'm a glutton for information. I love to know how things work, the kinks and barrels. I started off here doing production when I started last year, right after CBC, so it was April. Just made a year. I started off doing production. I was an independent contractor. I will always give kudos to Suresh. Suresh empowered me when he said, we're going to hire you as an independent contractor and start doing that when you get other jobs in this industry, which I've been doing from that point on. So I started off, my background when I first got into this industry was production. So I know several systems. I know how to run several lines, and it's easy, So I started off doing production. When I went to Arbeiter, I started cellaring under Aaron. I've been very fortunate to sit under the learning trees of some really, really dope brewers.
Yeah.
I count myself lucky in that regard, and some dope owners of breweries. It never fails on me that God, the universe, has led me in a direction in this industry in Minnesota where I've gotten so much knowledge. But Wooden Ship is home. Arbeiter's home too. They're just home in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, Wooden Ship when I walk in here every day, it's like, yeah, this is my people. And don't get me wrong, the neighborhood's weird as hell. I am not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to even, people are hearing me. I'm not afraid to say it.
Just driving over here, I'm like,
they're
my
weird.
God, the houses around here
they're
just
weird.
Insane.
Yeah. But also, they need to see people like myself.
Yeah.
They need to see this diverse staff.
Yeah.
They need to see Shantae. They need to see me wearing my Being Black is in America's exhausting shirts, because every time I work, I have a slogan shirt on. Please believe me. Please believe me, because you know what? I'm here, I'm black, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm tired of putting up with bullshit.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm 46 years old. I understand how people in their 80s feel. They don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm blunt.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's good. I mean, I think it's like, and it's a credit to, like, it's most of the discomfort when people when new people are coming to a space, I think is born out of ignorance, and fear is born out of ignorance.
Yep.
And it's like we're at our core, we're all human beings. We all have more in common than we have different. And trying to get that through people's heads more often would just, if people would just like accept that, this world would be so much better. But, you know,
variety is the spice of life.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, bringing it back to the work you're doing with the Black Brewers podcast, putting your stories out there, normalizing talking about mental health, it's all teaching a lesson, and it's bringing people to the table, and it's allowing our world to come closer and the listeners to be better.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for your time today. And most of all, I want to thank you for your friendship. You're a wonderful human being. I said it at your birthday. Every time I'm around you, you brighten my day. You lift my spirit. You're good for my soul. And I just love you to death.
Thank you. You're going to make me cry over here again. But the waterworks come. You get older, the crying comes easier. Thank you. I want to thank you for being you. Taking a chance on yourself with your podcast. Like, you know, not going to go into it, but I know, you know, going into this where you're at. And I commend you for taking the risk.
Yeah.
Being willing to be uncomfortable, because that takes a lot.
Yeah.
To say, you know what, I've been doing something for so long. Can I do it myself?
Right.
You know, and can I do it to the level that I see it?
Yeah.
You know, I struggle with that. Not in the sense with the podcast, but I struggle with it in the sense with the podcast because I see such a long-term vision that is honestly hard to articulate.
Right.
It is so hard. People ask me all the time, what do you see in the future? Greatness. What does that look like? I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Right.
And, you know, somebody asked me the other day, do we have a mission statement? I said, no. I was going to write one, right?
Yeah.
Talked to my therapist yesterday. He said, do you know how many, because I was like, he's like, you know what? If you don't feel the need to, don't do it. He said, I know several multi-millionaires who started businesses and don't have a mission statement.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're just going off the mission, off the vision.
Yeah.
Not the mission, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The vision. Because I have this vision of, and again, I have a vision, but that doesn't mean there's not three other visions. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm not discounting my co-hosts, because we are 4 people that come together that make that thing a thing.
Yeah.
I have a vision of where the 4 of us could be.
Right.
But I see us so much bigger than Minnesota. I see us more bigger than the United States, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there's opportunity to collab in Puerto Rico. You know, I'm reaching out overseas to people. The only limitation on this thing that we call a podcast, that we call a business that we've started, is our imagination, because no one has done what we've done. We're creating our own table and space.
Yes.
And I'm so thankful for the support we have from you, from Wooden Ship, from Minnesota. Like, we hosted the 2nd annual Brewer Awards.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of nuts. We were on a national panel for storytellers at CBC. We've only been around 3 years. Again, we're not even crawling.
Right.
But this shows...
Sky's the limit.
Thank you. But this shows how much what we're doing is needed, that it's being seen.
Oh, it absolutely is.
So I want to thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I want to support you in any way I can. We've talked, and we will continue to talk about some things. I'm not going to put them out into the interwebs yet.
Yes, right.
But Mr. Dan has some things up his sleeve, and I'm excited about when they come out to share.
Yeah. Well, as always, you know, the next time we chat, hopefully we can get some of your Black Brewers podcast counterparts on, because you know, I love all you all, and but this is fun.
Yeah.
So,
and know what else makes us great? We're all come from different walks of life, not
Yep.
just different walks in our careers.
Right.
I'm the elder statesman.
Yep.
You know, I got a couple guys in their 30s. They're mostly from their late 20s to mid 30s.
Yeah.
So it's a different. We all have a different subset of the diaspora of Black people in America.
Yeah.
Which makes it another way unique because,
Yeah.
you know, you got that young energy from Quan.
Yep.
You have the energy from E. You know, she's Panamanian as well.
Yeah.
You know, you have the energy from Greg, who's kind of in the middle. And then, you know, I'm an old young man.
Yeah. Well, and it all comes together in such a really beautiful way. And I think that's so important. And, you know, like, it makes me happy to see you all doing what you're doing and having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
And having like that like passion for something that's so much bigger than beer.
Yeah, it's
You know?
way bigger than beer. We start off with beer, and whatever else gets thrown
Yeah, I
into
like
the
that. That's
thing,
like
we
the
talk
jumping
about.
off point.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
beer is, again, going back to the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah.
It is communal.
Right.
This is to be shared. So why wouldn't your podcast wouldn't start off with the beer?
Yeah.
Sharing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like we all discovered like our love of beer brought us all together. But
Yep.
then that like we become so much more.
Yeah.
You know, with the Black Brewers podcast, BCC, and just like everything. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
So I want to cheers you one more time, my friend.
Thank you.
And thanks all for your time. Thanks to Wood and Chip for letting us like commandeer one of the 12 tables in the tap room. You know,
I was going to put them in the headlock if they did anyway.
precious real estate.
I'm just playing with the ship. I'm just playing. I love y'all.
Yeah, so this is great. This has been another on-location episode of One Pint Stand with Anthony from the Black Brewers podcast. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Cheers.
Anthony and I have been talking about doing this interview for a while. I was glad that our schedules could finally align and allow for such a great chat. Of course, I would love to do another podcast episode with the entire crew of the Black Brewers podcast, Greg, Quan, and E as well. One thing that really strikes me as special about Anthony is his ability to lift others up and care for people. His openness about mental health and his willingness to share some of his life stories are what make him the genuine article and a model for other males to follow when it comes to being open and willing to talk about mental health. Make sure you stop into Wood and Chip for the collab beer. Hit them with some more. It's a golden ale and it's quite delicious. Also, I believe proceeds with each pint go to a pretty awesome cause. I want to thank Wood and Chip Brewing Company for letting us hunker down for a few hours in their tap room and talk. I mean, I think we occupied one of the 12 tables there. It's not a big space, so the patio was open too. And I just want to thank Anthony for taking time to chat, and also for being such a wonderful friend to me. There are not many people of color talking about beer and shining a spotlight on people in the industry who are underrepresented. I believe that we are doing really important work. So check out the Black Brewers podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, and YouTube. They are amazing people blazing a wonderful trail with their show. So this brings us to the end of another episode of A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers. There is nothing but love.
Yeah, we like little freaking. We're like when you left grade school. We're like them grade school kids. We're
Yeah.
like sixth grade boys
Yeah.
when we get together.
And